What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to another Contender Series breakdown here on the VegasOdds YouTube channel. I'm your host, the fight analyst, Garrett Kerman, and with me, as always, is my man, Joe Danger himself, Jesse Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
I mean, you might as well call me Jesse Cheeto Vera Hobson. You know what I'm saying? Round 4 TKO. Called it like I sees it. And then also, I was going to do a thing where I play, I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level. But I just decided just to say it instead because I am on a new level. My money is back and better than ever. So I'm ready to spend it tomorrow and hopefully make some more back and just keep that rally going.
Oh, yeah. I mean, great coming off such a huge win with Marlon Vera. Kudos to you on the round 4 prop. I give you props where props is due. That was beautiful. Cheeto Vera looked phenomenal. I was riding the roller coaster. Unfortunately, we had some ups and downs, but Marlon Vera hit for us at the end too, which I'm very happy for. So at least we ended on a high note. But here we are again, our bread and butter Contender Series. We're looking for a fourth winning week in a row where my bets currently are sitting at 6-0 in the first 3 weeks. We're looking to cash in again this week. I see a lot of potential upsets here. I think it's looking a little spicy this week. What do you think?
Lines are moving. Lines are moving. Yeah, like I had someone hit me up on Twitter, just because of my live tweeting. I got a lot of new interactions via the Twitterverse. So yeah, I had a lot of like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? And it's all private. But before I can even respond, the lines are already moving. So I'm happy we got in when we did. Obviously, we'll talk about it here in a moment, but yeah, if you're not in, get in as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm researching Contender Series the day after the last week. So I was already capping this week's Contender Series last Wednesday because I need to get in on some early lines. Then the lines moved immensely since they dropped over at Bet Online, and yeah, they're moving way in our favor. But we got in a lot early, so I'm happy with that, and I'm looking forward to cashing some bets this weekend. So let's get it going right now. Our first fight is in the lightweight division between Ahmad Hassanzada and Nazim Sadikov. Right now, the line is at minus 195 for Sadikov and plus 165 in the comeback for Hassanzada. Who do you got?
Yeah, so even this one has shifted slightly since this morning. Obviously, we had the weigh-ins and the stare downs. What is the deal with this line? As far as I'm concerned, this should be a pick'em. This has all the writing on the wall for a pick'em. Nazim over here losing to dudes with 0-0 records and then opening up at the minus 230. I don't know what's going on. And then you have Ahmad on the other hand. He has the height, he has the reach, and Nazam has like these T-Rex Matthew McConaughey arms that I'm not seeing what everyone else is seeing. Ahmad has 4 sub wins. Nazim has lost that way. So don't tell me when I told you, but I'm predicting a club and sub type situation here, a la GM3. Death taxes. Ahmed gets it done as the underdog. Don't say I didn't warn you. This is the parlay buster that I'm seeing come a mile away here.
Oh, absolutely. I was all over Hassanzada earlier last week. I started watching tape. I'm like, and then I look at the line.
He was.
I was watching tape, and then I look at the line. I'm like, this man is plus 240 on Bet Online. I gotta give that out to everybody. Everybody I knew, I'm like, you gotta go bet Hassanzada plus 240 before the line, creeps down. And look where it's at right now, plus 145 all the way down from plus 240. Because I knew that's where it's kind of got to settle at. I think he's gonna settle around a plus 125 to plus 115 underdog. And we were able to get him at plus 240. I think that's an absolute steal. This dude is dynamic on the feet. He can throw different things from different directions, spinning attacks, nasty elbows in close. He's nasty in the clinch. He's dangerous off his back. Like you said, he's got 4 submission wins with 3 knockout wins as well. He's very diverse. I think he's a better grappler of the two. And I also think he's a better striker of the two. If I'm being frank, you look at Sadikov, yes, he's got power. He's very fundamentally sound. He's good defensively sound, but at the end of the day, he's faced not good competition. You look at when he fought De Leon 2 fights ago, who was a debut fighter. He lost round 1 against him, got dropped in round 2, and De Leon had to gas out in that round 2 for Sadikov to really take over and eventually get the knockout in round 3. But that is terrible. You do not lose rounds to guys that are making their pro debut. And if he didn't gas, he probably would have lost that fight just 2 fights ago. And I feel like the line is predicated on him just being a Serra-Longo product. Charlie Campbell was a minus 200 favorite. He got knocked out. Dennis Bazukia, he was a minus 240 favorite. He did not look his price tag at all. And I feel like you got to have Nazim do the exact same. He's shorter, stockier. I think he's got more punching, punching power. But I think Hassan Zad's going to be throwing too many different attacks at him. He definitely has a volume advantage. He's the one that's going to be coming forward. Sadikov is pretty flat-footed. He doesn't move his head too much. He's pretty much the lightweight version of Dennis Bazukia. He gets stuck on the fence very often as well. So, yeah, I got Hassan Zad taking this fight. He's arguably my strongest play on the card, and we got him at over plus 200 odds, and we're definitely catching this man. And also, I know people talking about him not being in the stateside. He's been here in the States since the beginning of the year in January of 2022. He's been training out of Team Alpha Male as well as United Wrestling Club over in Northern California. So I'm expecting him to look the best he's ever looked. And also his last opponent probably is the best opponent. It's the best opponent that they both faced. It was a D1 wrestler. He was an undefeated prospect. And Hassan Zada was actually almost 2-1 underdog in that spot too. We're cashing again as a 2-1 underdog here in this spot as well.
I like it.
All right, moving on. We got a fight in the women's bantamweight division between Haley Cohen and Claudia Late. I think it's Late. Right now, the line is set at minus 120 for Cohen, plus 100 for Claudia. I'm gonna go with Claudia. So who you got in this one, man?
Yeah, even this one's moving. I think the UFC wants Cowan to win. Like, it just seems like that's who this fight is set up for. Both girls are can crushers. Both have been beaten by cans, though. This is a fairly low-level fight based on, the homework that I did. I watched a little bit of tape, and that was boring as hell. But I think that Cowan has all of the advantages. And if she loses, it's only because of herself. Via Tapology, Cowan is the first ranked of 40 active Texas women pound for pound. So I have to root for her just because of that. She's lives in Waco. She went to Baylor. It's a Texas girl. She looks like a Texas girl. I think that she has what it takes to win, but am I going to be betting on it? No, but I want her to win. So we shall see.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fight I really want to put some money on. I kind of like Claudia earlier in the week when she was around plus 140, plus 160. I think she has the advantage on the feet. I think she packs more of a punch as well. Good heavy leg kicks, good punching power, and I think she's stronger in the clinch as well. She's got some pretty decent slams on her record from the tape study that I was able to watch. And then Cowan, she's like you said, she's lost to bad competition. She got choked out by somebody that shouldn't even be fighting in a guillotine. That was very bad. She puts herself in bad situations against bad fighters, and that's just not good. And I believe her natural background is a gymnast turned MMA fighter. That's kind of why the UFC is kind of pushing her, and they're trying to give her, an easy win. I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people think. If I had a bet, I'd probably take the dog side on Claudia, but it's definitely a no bet for me. But I'll probably take Claudia's side just because of the dog odds.
I think it'll be a pick 'em come fight time, but I think we're on the same page ultimately.
Yeah, I don't like it too much.
Well, it was like, okay, you won this but lost this, and then
I know. Right.
It was, but it was on both sides, so it was hard to really pick a side.
All right, our next fight up is in the bantamweight division between Jack Cartwright and Jose Johnson. Right now, the line minus 115 for Johnson, minus 105 to plus 100 for Cartwright. Who do you got?
Yeah, so I don't know. I wasn't really invested in this fight until I saw the stare downs. Yeah, they they don't like each other, and
I don't know where it came from. Like Johnson just came out of nowhere and just started barking, and then Cartwright's like, okay, I'll knock you the fuck out,
yeah.
or submit
Well,
you.
well, and then he's like, "I'll knock you in your big head," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." The physical stuff. Whenever someone disses them for like their physical appearance, it like shows that they're not like very articulate, and immediately I was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to go with Cartwright." But I mean, here's the deal. On paper, these guys seem pretty close, but once you dive a bit deeper and actually watch these guys fight, I feel like Cartwright is one step ahead. He probably will be in the cage as well. So, it translated to both, face to face, and I think it'll translate to, once they get locked in the cage as well. Jack is better on the ground. I'll let Garrett, talk about that. And I just believe that, Cage Warriors, it kind of breeds stiffer competition, especially in this weight class. Cartwright being the dog, initially was a gift. So I hoped you grabbed that while you could. Oh, and then Jose, he lost to Ronnie Lawrence. So that's really all I needed to see to know that Jack is the right side here.
Yeah, Jack Cartwright is one of the top prospects in the bantamweight division outside of the UFC. He's a Cage Warriors reigning, defending bantamweight champion. He's been a long time, bantamweight champion over there. I think ever since like Daniel Wood kind of left. I think I'm not entirely sure, but he's been the bantamweight champion for a minute now. Really good grappling. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. Really good double leg takedowns, good scrambles. Comes forward. He's always aggressive. He's got some good punching power as well, but his bread and butter is his grappling and his submission game, which should be enough to beat Johnson. Johnson still has not gotten better with his takedown defense since the Ronnie Lawrence fight. He's been taken down in probably almost every single fight except for like the Mano Martinez fight and Johnson's last fight, because Martinez knocked him out early and Johnson just got a 12-second knockout just before coming on to the Contender Series for, I think, his third time. I think Dana White just loves this guy because he's super tall, super long, and flashy for the division. But ultimately, he's lost 7 times. All 7 guys were not great competition. Let I add, he's been submitted numerous times. He's been knocked out numerous times. Cartwright's 10-0. He's fought stiff competition over in the UK. Granted, he didn't look good his last fight, but that was against a really good wrestler, a guy that has heavy top pressure. That Cartwright doesn't have to deal with any type of takedowns. So he's going to come forward. He's going to be the one that's going to be the aggressor. He's the one that's going to be take this fight to the ground. And I feel like Cartwright knows he's immensely better on the mat than Johnson. And Johnson technically should be 2-1. I mean 1-2 in his last 2 fights, because Mo Miller should have beaten him if Mo Miller had anything other than a 1 stripe on his white belt, because that man fought like a dumbass, laid in this man's guard, and he cinched up the easiest triangle I've ever seen in my goddamn life, up against the cage, might I add. It was the slowest thing ever. He put it up over his shoulder, and then he just nonchalantly just left it there, and Mo Miller's just like, okay, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to leave my arms chilling inside the triangle, not even trying to put my other hand inside to break it up. Nope. And then he got tapped out. I'm like, that was the laziest triangle choke I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think of, like, because you mentioned to like watch that, right? So I went and checked it out, and I was like, damn, he was not lying. But like, yeah, bad. it just makes you not believe in this guy that much more, because anyone with a pulse could probably figure that one out.
Oh, especially Jack Cartwright. I think like I said, he's never been finished on the mat. He's very good in scramble. He's got numerous submission wins. I'm surprised his line is the way it is. We were able to get a little bit of dog money on it. I'm surprised they got to dog money, because Cartwright was all the way at -400, and then the line came all the way down. I don't know why, but I'm okay with it. I'll take dog money all day on Cartwright, who's the much more skilled fighter and the much more well-rounded fighter, because once you put Johnson on his back, he's flat on his back. Sometimes he could get up against guys like Mo Miller, because Mo Miller doesn't have any ounce of submissions in his game. He's all just about takedowns and control, whereas Cartwright's all about submission attempts. So if Johnson tries to scramble with Cartwright, he's probably going to get his back taken, and he's probably going to get choked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. We got a fight in the middleweight division between Claudio Rivera. We go Rivera. And Ivan Valenzuela. That's
a new one.
I know. Right now it's basically a pick 'em, I believe. Yeah, minus 115 for Ivan and minus 105 to plus 100 for Claudio. Who do you got?
I think Claudio. I think that honestly, I don't really see a lot there. I think that a lot of it, his love comes from him just looking like a weirdo, like with the facial hair, and I just don't really understand the love. He's a bit of a can crusher, based on his record. Ivan, on the other hand, has actually faced some pretty decent competition. Both guys can finish the fight in the first, but Ivan's the only one that has won via decision. He also has the height and the strength advantage. And because of all of these factors, I'd say the longer the fight goes, the more of an advantage that Ivan has. So I just really think that there's more past the victory for Ivan, and that's ultimately who I'm siding with as far as my pick and my play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not big on Valenzuela as a prospect because I believe I don't think he's all there just yet. I don't think he'll get signed. It depends if he gets a big knockout. Maybe he does, but I think he's got some work to do. But Claudio, on the other hand, he's a loose cannon. I mean, he's got power. I give him that. But we're talking like that dude wings hooks. Like he's got no technique. He's just looking to come forward, blitz forward, throw like Ngannou versus Rosenstruck hooks, and hope and one of them land and then put you out, which it could happen in this fight. But ultimately, I think Ivan is a little bit better than him, a little more technically sound, much more better technically in his striking as well. And I believe he trains at a better camp too, fights at a better organization at Lux Fight League. And then ultimately, I think he's going to catch him at the counter when he overextends on one of those heavy hooks and just catches him and puts him out. Also, Claudio weighed in at 181.5 pounds when Valenzuela weighed 186 in a 185-pound fight. So I don't think Claudio's going to fluctuate too much in his, fight time. When he goes and fights tomorrow night, whereas Valenzuela is probably be a lot bigger than him come fight time. So I'm signing with Valenzuela. He's going to be a bet of mine actually, and I think I got him at around minus 115, minus 110. I don't remember, but yeah.
He looked massive in comparison, even at the face off. So I mean, it's already showing.
Right, and then coming in at 181.5 and 185-pound fight, you're already giving up 5 pounds, almost giving up 4.5 pounds right there, and then you're not counting him rehydrating, him getting food in his system. He'll probably be all the way up to like at least close to 200.
Yeah.
So. All right, we're up to our featured bouts on the main card. A fight between a guy with an amazing Tapology pick, might I add, and Thomas Paull and Esteban Ribovics. I don't know how to say his last name.
You got it, Ribovics.
Ribovics, I think. Right now the line is Esteban minus 300 and come back on Paull plus 250. Who do you got?
Yeah, so first off, that guy has a badass picture.
He does.
And it kind of reminds me like of Bronson, like with Tom Hardy. This is going to be an absolute war. I'm very excited for this fight. I don't know if you've seen Paul's last fight, but this guy is something. He gets rocked, and it's against pretty good competition, and he comes back and finds the finish in round one. Same with Ribovics. Dude is a finisher. In one of his most recent fights, he knocked this. I think it was his most recent fight. He knocked this guy out, and it was like out of the movie The Craft. Boom, stiff as a board. The guy just fell like a tree. Paull. He probably has fought the stiffer competition, and on paper, Ribovics. He seems more well rounded. Like he seems like he has more a bigger skill set. And no disrespect, but he's fighting in rooms that are like filled with lawn chairs. These are like high school auditoriums. Yeah, so he probably should be winning those fights, especially if he's on Tuesday Night Contender Series. I'm actually going to take the underdog here. Someone's going to get finished, and if Paull can land something inside and land it heavy, I think he has a really good shot at finishing Ribovics. But here's the thing: Paull is deaf, so he won't be able to hear his coaches, and that's a huge disadvantage. So I think that's why we're getting this line. But here's the thing: if we were to talk shit about his photo, I think it's really cool. But if we were to make fun of it, we probably wouldn't get a lot of phone calls. We'd probably just get a bunch of letters. So just something to keep in mind, when you are referring to Paull. He's a strong, buff man, and he deserves all the credit in the world.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a banger. These two love to throw down. I think Paull doesn't do well when he gets drawn into firefights and wars, and whereas Esteban actually does do well because I think he's more technically sound on the feet. He's better at countering, moving his head off the center line. Where Thomas Paull gets hit a ton, and I kind of expect that here. But given the line, I really don't like the line of -300, and given the state that both of them have power, I could see why someone like yourself would take the chance on the big underdog here, and I get it. I'm ultimately going to pass on this fight, but if we got an under, what we got? We got under 1.5 seed. The other 1.5 is set at -200. Ribovics by knockouts +100, which is not that bad.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna take the other guy by knockout
at +525. That's not terrible either. But the thing is, Esteban has such a big advantage on the mat, where if he takes it there, it should be that's all she wrote. And that's at +650 by submission.
See, that's a good play too. Taking him by sub and then Paull by KO, kind of cover your bases. Because I just really think, based on the bright lights versus the lawn chairs, I just think that Paull is going to be in a position to succeed. No disrespect to El Gringo, but I think that, maybe another, if he loses, maybe a second time might benefit him, to come back. But it really just depends on what happens tomorrow. Because I could see him coming back after he gets some more decent wins under his belt. I think the kid is skilled. I just don't think that he's ready for the UFC.
Yeah, I agree. It's really going to come down to, who shows up. It comes down to who's going to be exciting. I feel like someone gets signed here because someone's going to get a finish.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And that's the only reason why they're going to get signed. If this goes a distance, definitely not getting signed. But if someone comes out with a finish, they're getting signed immediately.
The guys that have rocked Paull, usually are the guys that load up like the Cody Garbrandts, the Mike Tysons, like that type of punch. You know what I'm saying? And more often than not, the guy recovers. So, but that's the difference here is that Ribovics doesn't really load up. He just knocks you the fuck out. And and again, it's in high school gymnasiums, but I mean, a punch is a punch is a punch. If he lands the chin, I mean, it his ears will be ringing. Regardless if he knows or not, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm really excited. This outside of the women's MMA fight, this card is pretty stacked. I saw a lot of people dogging this card, but almost every one of these guys can find the finish, excluding the ladies. But I do think it's good that we include some women's fights on these Tuesday nights, just because a lot of those divisions are lacking, and I'm also excited for that fight too. So.
I'm not, but
they probably should have had that co-main event on this card instead. Yasmin versus Yasmin.
Yeah.
That would have been a hell of a fight, but I think that they did the right thing putting that fight where it was, and we got some eyes on those prizes because the future is in good hands. So that was a pretty doggone good fight.
Definitely was. But that's what we got for you guys this week's Contender Series breakdown here on the VegasOdds YouTube channel. We will be back as always next week, same day, same time. So don't miss it. Don't miss out on this money. We're gonna get it more. We're gonna cash out this week. We cash out for the next 6 weeks coming up. So don't go anywhere.
If you guys are on Paull, let me know. Like, send me like a text message or like a smoke signal or something so I can see it, because I'm not going to hear it because I'm going to be too busy cashing out.
All right, guys. We will see you all next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. We will see you all next week.